Hey guys, how you doing? This is Matt Bryers,
Czaplicki.
and we're at our school, the Jiu-Jitsu Strength Academy in Cromwell. Some of you guys may know, some of you may not, and we're starting off a new series that's kind of going to kick off an idea we've been talking about, OPSLED.
Yep.
Operation Suck Less Every Day. And I'm going to give a shout out to some of the guys I used to be friends with years ago who came up with this idea. We were on an Allgas trip, and we were talking about ways that we sucked at life. And I think one of our guys, John, came up with the idea of Operation Suck Less Every Day is be better than you were last.
Yeah, it's a cool concept.
A cool concept. So that's what kind of started off kind of a new series. That a couple different things that'll talk about how much I suck at life, and in my obsession trying to get better at that, as well as some of the stuff that goes on here at the JSA and Soul Fighters Academy.
Yep.
Stuff we're working on personally and through business, just kind of those type of concepts. So take it from what you will. But today's concept we're actually talk about is something that we deal a lot with, is timing, and the concept of time and how it affects us. So kind of start off is that time for me is it's a losing battle. It's the only thing that I've got. Only thing that we have. That every second we waste doing videos is a second.
Well, hopefully this won't be wasted.
Yeah, I'm trying to say. So maybe it's not wasted time. But from a business, right now I'm not talking about martial arts, because in martial arts and we get into timing too, about before, during, and after time from self-defense perspective. But right now, kind of talking about work and business and how things affect our lives negatively first, and talk about ways kind of talk about how I kind of personally struggle with time, especially with my brain. I get a little crazy.
For those of you who don't know Matt, he's a little if you look at his computer when we're sitting here working, he's got at least 27 tabs open.
Yeah.
But there is a system to him.
There is.
From left to right. That's the most
those
important.
are my.
Just,
I
can't even look at his computer because it drives me fucking nuts. But
so. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're a businessman, or you're working regardless, and you have passion about what you're doing, the worst thing you do is waste time, because you're spending time away from it and not building something. So when I first get to my computer, I kind of start off by looking at the things that are most important for my day. I have an ongoing task list. My tabs are actually things too. Is I leave my tabs open as those are my current objectives and things I'm working on. But I tend to stay away do the best I can to stay away from, when I'm working, Facebook, Instagram.
You kind of have to.
I have to.
It's a black hole.
It is a black hole. Unless it's specifically for work. But even then, I'll touch on my timeline for a second, and then I'm off.
Yeah.
What I do give myself in the morning is that, because I do like checking social media, kind of see what's going on in the world, what's going on with my friends, what's going on with the business side of that. And so in the morning, I used to kind of sit down and have my coffee, watch TV. But to me, that was kind of a time waster too. So what I do now is sit down with one of my dogs over here. You guys can't see him. But I sit down with my 3 dogs in the morning, have my cup of coffee, hang out with them. And I just check my phone, see what's going on Facebook, Instagram, make a little bit of notes about my day, kind of catch up on some emails. But for me, that was a big change of kind of putting away that, or kind of giving the social media time of its own. And giving some time to work. I get it out of the way, and then when I get here, the day just starts. You know what I mean? And then I'm working on stuff. So what do you think? Any
I think along those same lines, I think it's important to have time blocks for everything.
Yeah.
So obviously we have to do stuff on social media for this kind of stuff. So you have to block out your time for that, and then stick to those. You really have to force yourself to stick to those. They have a lot of software things now too that'll block. You could block Facebook for 8 hours a day. Yeah,
that's actually kind of cool. I like that.
You can block it.
Yeah,
I forget what the name. I could find the sites, but I forget what they are. But you can block certain sites for a certain amount of time, and the only way to get into that site is to reboot your whole computer. So most people aren't going to go through that
the whole process
unless you're
insane,
a little bit insane.
I'm sure it's probably a bunch of them doing.
I think the time block concept is pretty important, and like I said, sticking to it. So block out a portion of time for email, for social media, for business work, for whatever you're doing. You block out your portions of time and stick to it.
I firm believer in that. Like even like emails, like I know my wife had, she'll get caught up in emails a lot. Even when she's at home or work, I'm like, if I have a bunch of emails, I'll look at them and kind of put them in like another like kind of an unread, or I use a Google Inbox to put them as reminders of things to look at. But I kind of put them away. I don't go back to them until there's a period of time when I'm ready. Either I have a set time, like okay, like around like actually typically now is kind of when I start settling down, come to my morning hours, and I go into trying to check out emails. But same thing, those can be huge time wasters.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
For you. I know you used to do you still do your notebook?
Yes, I haven't done it in about a week or so, but I do a journal. So what I do, my typical day, I come here, I'm here by like 6:15, 6:30. I get my training in first.
And that's a great concept. To interrupt you, but that's a great concept of time too. It's like you have so much work to do and things going on.
Yep.
That your first thing is no, I'm going to get my physical training out of the way too. And for me being so busy all the time, and sometimes teaching classes, I don't get the something with you teaching. It's hard to actually carve out time for ourselves physically, but we know how important that is. Excuse me, I have to yell at a dog for a second. Bruce, off. Come here.
Get over here.
Here.
Come on.
Oh boy.
Go in there. So yeah, I like he said, I know if I don't get the training done first thing in the morning, I'm not gonna have time to do it, and I know that if I don't do it, I'm gonna be a miserable fuck all day.
Right.
So,
and that can lead to, like for me, like I those are times the groin injury and going through stuff. Like if you don't take care of yourself physically, you're gonna have. I think it fucks your head
absolutely.
too.
Absolutely.
And I remember there's a guy. I forget what. It was some kind of high-powered entrepreneur CEO guy who was talking about like a big part of his, not a big part of his day, but it was so important for him to actually carve out the physical training part of his day. And yelling at dogs. Come on, buddy. You have to carve out the physical part of your day, because if you don't,
absolutely,
it becomes a problem. Okay.
A lot of people like that in business do. They do their morning, their workouts or whatever they're doing in the morning too.
Right.
I just find, number one, like I said, if I don't get it done, I'm very cranky.
Right.
And also it kind of sets me up for the rest of the day. I feel like by 8 o'clock, I've already accomplished more than a lot of people have done.
That's true. It's true.
So, and then
your workouts aren't like
my workouts aren't usually very easy.
Yeah,
so,
if you guys haven't seen Justin's workouts, he posted under JH Athletics and then JS and the Jiu-Jitsu Strength Academy too. And his workout logs and his video blog. Yep. Justin it puts a lot of effort into training himself and training others, and really is like a mad scientist about how you go into that, and it's really cool how much passion you have for it, because that's one of the reasons why I was so excited to have you here is like is your passion for training and taking care of yourself, and obviously your passion for work too.
Definitely. So for you guys that don't know, I compete in strongman, so that's what he's saying as far as hard training and stuff.
Yeah.
So after I do training, I come and I usually do, when I haven't, like I said, I haven't brought it in a week or so, but then I'll sit down and I'll write out my power list for the day. So basically,
where did you get that power list?
I got it from Andy Frisella.
Okay.
So for you guys who don't know who Andy is, he is CEO of First Form, which is a supplement company. He also owns a few other companies. But he built his company from the ground up. He's been in business, I think, 17 years. He started out with one supplement store that he used to sleep in the back of because he couldn't afford anything else. And now he does $100 million a year.
Jesus.
So one of his things on his podcast, it's called the MFCEO podcast. It stands for motherfucking CEO. He's an awesome dude. I really love listening to everything he says. But he has power lists. So he does 5 items that are going to move him forward for the day. That's it, just 5. So
I want to interrupt you there. Like that's the concept I like, is that moving forward every day.
Yeah.
Like if
major task that's going to move you forward.
And if I don't get, I'm always accomplishing something because I have to, or I'll go insane. If I don't get like a major thing done, like I feel like, okay, I can move on. It drives me insane. Like I'll lose sleep over it and think about it and obsess over it. Like I got to get this done.
Yeah.
And having that kind of, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead, finish your stuff.
Well, for me, since it was a new concept for me, I started with 3 things, just because I knew starting with 5 might be a little bit much.
Yeah.
So I started with 3. I mean, if you get 3 major things done every day for the whole year, you're going to be in way better shape than you were at the beginning.
That's 1,000 things a year.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I think it's very important to to be able to prioritize your tasks and figure out what's
What's an
actually
example
important.
of what's an example on your list of things to do?
Well, they can be small things too. Like I had gotten out of the habit of reading actual books every day. So one of my things on the list was to read for 15 minutes.
You know, it's cool. I'm gonna interrupt you. I keep it.
No, that's fine.
I'm gonna stop saying.
Yeah, just stop saying. Just keep talking. That's what you do usually anyway.
I know. I hate that. But that's what I hate about myself. I keep talking over people. I don't mean to do it, but I do. Is that I like about you is you have you take it goes back to physical training, but you also take time for your mental development too. It's like you actually you read like when you're talking about that podcast or the books. Like Justin is always bettering himself, not just on in the gym, but mentally too. Like he's always reading, he's always listening. Like when we come in here, like we come back in here around like 3 o'clock. Like one of the first things you do is like you typically have like a podcast playing while we're working.
Yep.
You've been listening to Elliot Holtz right now,
yep.
And just kind of on his ideas on the strength gym.
Yeah, he's got a system that I think we purchased that. It was the entrepreneurial installation system.
Pardon the interruption there. We had
technical difficulties.
Time wasting by deleting.
deleting. It's funny we were just talking about that. Time wasting. Yeah.
We were talking about mental training too, or kind of mental, spending some time, learning stuff, watching crazy dogs run around. Do you remember what you were trying to say, or?
Yeah, it was. So I was talking about the Elliot Holtz program.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's basically how he built his gym and his online business, which is exactly what we're trying to do. So I try to keep. I don't all the time just stay in the same vein of like things that we're working on. Obviously, that would be kind of too narrow. You know?
Yeah.
But he also has actually the book that I was reading. It's his book too. It's called King, and it's very interesting as far as not even as far as training wise. His training is very similar to the way I do things.
Yep.
But it's still good to read stuff like that.
Of course.
But the mental side of his stuff.
I got it. Go ahead.
Is that my?
Yeah.
The mental side of his thinking is very, very interesting. He talks a lot about meditation and chakras and bioenergetics and all kinds of it's very interesting.
Yeah.
And it's definitely a different perspective than most people have. So I like kind of reading. I like reading shit like that because it really expands. What you normally think about. Most people don't sit down and meditate. It's
no.
And because of that, I'm going to start doing that kind of stuff. I've been meaning to try to do that more. I've read a few books on that. It's just putting it into action I haven't done yet. So that's one of my goals for this year is to do more than actually learn.
Yeah, Mel and I were actually just talking about meditating because my wife is Mel. Her job is so stressful. She's working constantly all the time that she's a hard time settling her brain.
Yeah.
Because it's so focused on the stress of work, the stress of getting things done, the stress of what her job. But meditation is one of those things that she's like, well, I want to invest some time in meditating.
It's a good idea.
Because if I can learn to reset my brain a little bit or reset her brain, that she'd be better off.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess one last thing we were talking about is the concept of eating the frog, and I forget where this concept came from. I know Oz and I.
Bruce,
come on, buddy. Bruce,
get over here.
So sorry again. Concept of eating frog, which is the kind of. God damn it! He's being a fucking pain in the ass.
He is. Just keep going. It's fine.
Look how this one comes. So the last thing we want to talk about is the concept of eating the frog, and I forget. I'm sure some of you may have heard this before, but it's a concept that Oz and I have talked about before. Mm-hmm. It's like taking that difficult, that most challenging, that most that thing that's kind of digs at the back of your brain, like you need to get done, and doing that first. Kind of take the most difficult thing, the most difficult task, and nail that first because that's going to give you, I guess, a freedom or more of like I did something today. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm not saying your most difficult task is your strength training, but that's just a good thing that you need to get done every day because if you don't do it, it's going to have such a negative effect on your life. You know? So for me, I know it's like I need to go through like business stuff, like business, like emails, numbers, all. I hate looking at bank accounts and stuff like that. I don't hate it, but it's part of like that necessary evil, the accounting, the bookkeeping, the business, kind of that back end stuff. It's not fun. but I do that. That's one of my actually first things in the morning is actually a lot of my social media. I kind of have like a folder, productivity folder. A productivity folder on my phone. I click it, it has all my banking stuff in there too. I go in there, check everything, see if things okay or not okay, pay whatever I need to take care of. But once that's done, I'm off to the races.
Yeah.
I don't have to stress about that the rest of the day. I know where I'm at. I know what I need to do, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So, we'll kind of conclude that as our first opening. OPSLED stuff. Unless you have something else to throw in there, or
continuing on that concept, that's kind
I'm
of.
sorry, I should have given you the
that's fine.
opportunity to chime in there.
That's along the same lines as the power list too. So the eating the frog thing. You get your important stuff done, or in that case, I would, for me, translate eating the frog into getting the thing you don't want to do done.
Yeah.
Like the one thing that you know you have to do, but you're like,
Right.
oh, I don't want to fucking send that email or whatever
Right,
it is.
right.
You got to get that. That's on my eye there.
That thing that's
that
gonna
done.
bother you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's gonna fuck with you all day if you don't get it.
And I translate that onto the mat too. Like, I'll look at if there's like when I'm completely healthy in jiu-jitsu, if I'm looking on the mat and there's the toughest guy in the room, he's just he's whatever. I'm like, if I don't train with that guy, it'll eat at me for the rest of the day or whatever. It's like I miss it's a missed opportunity. It's wasted. Not my training time was wasted, but it could have been better. So it's like, well, I'm going to do that thing that
bite the bullet and
bite
do
the
it
bullet.
first,
Not do it first, but I want to get it done. Like it's like that holy the frog concept. Like it's facing that challenge. And I've told many people I have a tattoo on the center of my sternum that says conquer your demons or conquer your fears, and that kind of for me was that similar concept. Like if there's something that's in front of you that scares you, bothers you, that you need to get done, fucking do it.
Yeah.
Don't be a bitch about it, because a lot of guys out there who will, I'm gonna do this someday. I'm gonna do that. I'm like,
someday isn't a day.
Fucking A, man. And you're wasting time talking about doing stuff you're gonna do. Just fucking do it. I mean, bite the bullet, eat the frog.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need to take that thing and cut it down into small segments too. You know what I mean? That's another problem too, is that people look at the frog as such a huge thing. This thing is
People have a tendency to overestimate what they can get done in a month and underestimate what they can get done in a year.
Right.
And they kind of, too many people think way out, and then they don't reverse engineer and make a plan backwards.
Reverse engineer.
Gary
Yeah.
Vaynerchuk says that all the time.
Yeah.
It's like that's in my brain because I listen to his shit all the time too. Bruce, come on, buddy. But yeah, you should have an overarching huge thing that you want to get done, but you got to be able to break it down.
Yeah.
If it's going to take you, if you plan on it's taking you 3 years to do it, you got to break it down into 1 year goals. 6 month goal, 3 month, 1 month, then weekly, daily. You got to figure out what you got to do every day to reach that goal.
I think I'm very good at keeping a vision of what I need, overall, my 1 year, 2 year, 3 year goals. I know where I want to be.
Yeah.
I don't put a hard timeline on it, because for me, I'm so focused on getting that. I'm very good at digesting the small chunks. I know what needs to get done in order to get to that next level.
Yeah.
And that's, so for me, it's my time is really spent on getting those tasks done that need to be done, because I don't do those, then I never get the rewards, or I never get to the level I want to be.
They're always that someday.
And that small thing. Like, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. It's like that's what drives me nuts about a lot of people who like to give other people advice on anything, whether it be martial arts techniques or business advice. I can't tell you how many people have given me advice over the years on how to run my business, but have never run a business themselves. I'm like, that's great, cool.
Yeah.
But
it's a good concept. But have you tried it? Does it actually work?
It's that same thing with you said. You can read all the books you want and study all the martial arts techniques you want, but if you never do anything with it, it's just now you're wasting time by just looking at that stuff and never actually going for it. I think so. Time is it's a bitch, it's a demon. I see life as very, very short. It's a blip, and I want to do the best I can to enjoy it and make something out of it that is cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
So, guys, this is our first one, and I apologize for this little fucking monster running around. He's 3 months. No, yeah, 3 months old. No,
16 weeks.
16 weeks. Yeah,
so
4 months. Excuse me. I never spent enough time in math in school, I guess. He's a new JSA puppy, and he's just still kind of figuring things out around here. So
He doesn't like when nobody pays attention to him.
Yeah, exactly. So, guys, we would really appreciate comments on what you think about our new series that Justin and I are working into. It's one of our goals for 2017 ourselves. Again, we've been talking about trying to get, we do a lot of filming and stuff for the martial arts and for strength training, but now we want to start plugging in
and more business stuff,
mindset, how we think. Getting shit done. Like a motherfucking CEO and all those other people out there.
Don't be a fucking pussy.
Don't be a fucking pussy. And so thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. And again, please comment, and we would appreciate any suggestions. Thanks.
Thank you.